Okay, let's get started.
सब्सक्राइब करें क्योंकि लोकतंत्र सिर्फ देखने की चीज नहीं, निभाने की जिम्मेदारी है।
Okay, let's get started.
Have you ever pondered upon the significance of good governance in the realm of environmental, social, and governance (ESG) principles? We'll start by understanding what good governance entails. Simply put, it's a set of rules, practices, and processes that dictate how a company is operated and controlled. Its chief goal: to ensure a company conducts itself in an open, accountable manner, with its leadership acting in the best interests of all stakeholders. Now let's delve into the role of good governance in ESG. A company's governance structures form the bedrock of its ESG programs. They provide the framework on which policies addressing environmental and social issues are constructed. It's an intricate balancing act of managing the diverse interests of directors, shareholders, management, and employees, while building trust with investors, the community, and public officials. So how does good governance impact a company's reputation and performance? Well, numerous studies have highlighted that organizations prioritizing and implementing exemplary governance practices tend to perform better financially. They attract more investors, achieve organizational objectives more consistently, and are viewed as reliable and trustworthy. Now, let's consider the flip side of the coin. Poor corporate governance can undermine a company's integrity, hinder its ability to raise capital, and impede its ESG ambitions. It's akin to building a house on shaky foundations. Without robust governance, the ESG initiatives a company embarks on are likely to be less successful and could even fail. In essence, good governance is the sturdy foundation upon which a company's ESG ambitions are built. It aligns the interests of all stakeholders, ensures transparency, and fosters an environment of trust. It's not just a corporate obligation, but a powerful tool to drive a company's success and its ESG performance. So, good governance is not just a corporate obligation, but a powerful tool to drive a company's success and its ESG performance. But how did we arrive at this stage? Let's dive into the history of governance in business. Our narrative begins long before the 20th century, where the power of companies and the necessity for responsible action were already hot topics. The 17th, 18th, and 19th centuries saw the rise of trading companies like the Dutch East India Company and the British East India Company. These entities, effectively the world's first multinational corporations, swiftly came under scrutiny. The immense influence they wielded led to the introduction of laws aimed at limiting their powers. However, these measures were more reactive than proactive, responding to specific situations rather than establishing a consistent framework for ensuring companies catered to societal interests. The dawn of the 20th century saw a shift in this approach. It was the late 19th century when the United States took a significant step towards regulating businesses. The Sherman Antitrust Act, passed in 1890, became the first piece of legislation aimed at controlling the burgeoning monopolistic power of large conglomerates known as corporate trusts. This act marked the beginning of a structured approach to business regulation, sparking a wave of similar laws across major economies worldwide. These laws were designed to promote competition, thereby curbing the unchecked power of these corporate trusts. Yet, this was just the tip of the iceberg. The Great Crash of 1929 brought about a renewed focus on the need for transparency and accountability in corporate dealings. This led to the introduction of the Securities Act in 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act the following year. These acts aimed to ensure that companies provided accurate financial information and prevented controlling shareholders from exploiting minority investors or manipulating markets. This marked the beginning of a new era in corporate governance, setting the stage for more comprehensive regulations. The journey of corporate governance had started, and it was only going to become more complex and nuanced with time. But as we'll see in the next scene, the evolution of governance in the 20th century was far from over. It was just getting started. As the world stepped into the 20th century, the governance landscape underwent significant changes. The dawn of this era brought with it an increased need for checks and balances in the world of business. The Great Crash of 1929, a cataclysmic event that shook the global economy to its core, played a pivotal role in this transformation. In the aftermath of the crash, it became abundantly clear that there was an urgent need to ensure that companies provided accurate financial information. It was also necessary to protect minority shareholders from potential manipulation by controlling shareholders. The crash highlighted the fatal flaws in the existing system, and it was evident that the time had come for a new, more stringent approach to governance. As a response to these needs, the United States passed the Securities Act in 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act in 1934. These acts were groundbreaking in their approach to governance. They aimed to provide a level playing field for all investors by enforcing stringent regulations on companies. The Securities Act of 1933 was particularly focused on ensuring transparency in the financial statements of companies. It required companies to provide truthful, exhaustive financial data, thus making it more difficult for them to mislead investors. The Securities Exchange Act of 1934, on the other hand, sought to protect the rights of minority shareholders. It introduced regulations that made it harder for controlling shareholders to manipulate markets or take unfair advantage of their position. The introduction of these acts marked a turning point in the history of governance. They were a clear signal that the era of laissez-faire business practices was coming to an end. The focus was now on ensuring that companies were held accountable for their actions and that they operated in a transparent and honest manner. The impact of these changes was far-reaching. They set the stage for the development of a more robust, ethical, and transparent corporate world. Companies were now expected to act responsibly, and investors were given the tools they needed to hold them accountable. These regulations marked a shift towards a more transparent and accountable corporate world. They laid the groundwork for the high standards of governance we see in the business world today. The concept of corporate governance took on new dimensions in the 1970s. As we navigate through the labyrinth of history, we find that this era was a pivotal one for corporate governance. The world, grappling with an economic crisis, was in desperate need of a renewed approach to business ethics and accountability. During this turbulent time, the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, rose to the occasion. This regulatory body, with its commitment to transparency, started to tackle some deeply rooted issues. The focus was on financial reporting and corporate accountability to shareholders. The SEC began to scrutinize the books, to delve deeper into the numbers, and to question the veracity of financial disclosures. This was not a mere exercise in fact-checking. It was a determined effort to expose any inconsistencies, to identify any discrepancies, and to hold corporations accountable for their financial practices. The 1970s also saw the birth of a term that would reshape the world of business: corporate governance. Its first appearance was in the Federal Register, the official journal of the US government. This was not just a new phrase, it was a new philosophy, a new approach to doing business. It was about instilling a culture of transparency, responsibility, and accountability within corporations. It was about ensuring that businesses didn't just chase profits, but also acted in the best interests of all stakeholders. The period marked a significant step forward in the evolution of corporate governance. It was a shift from reactive regulations to proactive policies. It was about creating a framework that would guide business operations, not just in times of crisis, but also in times of prosperity. It was about establishing a standard that businesses worldwide would aspire to meet. This era was not just about the emergence of higher standards. It was about the recognition that these standards were necessary for the sustainable growth of businesses and economies. It was about understanding that responsible business practices were not just an ethical obligation, but also a strategic imperative. This was a turning point, setting the stage for the modern understanding and application of corporate governance. The 1970s laid the groundwork for the principles of corporate governance that we uphold today. And the journey continues as we strive for higher standards and greater accountability. Fast forward to the present day, and governance has a crucial role to play in ESG. It acts as the backbone, supporting and shaping the way businesses approach environmental and social concerns. Without a strong governance structure, the E and the S in ESG would be like a ship without a rudder, directionless and ineffective. A company's governance structure is more than just a set of rules. It's the very foundation on which ESG programs are built and flourish. It's the platform where policies addressing environmental and social issues are drafted, debated, and implemented. And here's the interesting part. The quality of a company's governance doesn't just impact its ESG policies, it also influences its overall performance. Research shows that organizations with robust governance practices are more likely to excel financially. They have a better shot at achieving their goals consistently. Why? Because good governance ensures alignment. It aligns the interests of directors, shareholders, management, and employees, creating a sense of unity and shared purpose. This shared vision, in turn, drives efficiency and productivity, leading to better financial outcomes. And there's more. Good governance doesn't just boost financial performance, it also makes a company more attractive to investors. In an era where investors are increasingly conscious of ESG factors, a strong governance structure signals responsibility, transparency, and accountability. It shows that a company is committed to doing the right thing, and that it has the mechanisms in place to make that happen. This builds trust, and trust is a powerful magnet for investment. On the flip side, poor governance can undermine a company's integrity and reliability, making it harder to raise capital and jeopardizing its ESG ambitions. It's like a chink in the armor, exposing the company to potential risks and challenges. Clearly, good governance is not just a corporate luxury, but a necessity in today's ESG-focused business landscape. Let's recap what we've learned today. Good governance in business is more than just a set of rules or practices. It's a critical determinant of how a company is operated and controlled, with its primary goal being transparency and accountability. Good governance ensures the protection of the rights of all stakeholders, from the board of directors and shareholders to management and employees. We've also delved into the history of governance, starting from concerns around the power of companies that arose centuries ago, leading to the dawn of regulation in the late 19th century and the subsequent evolution of governance standards in the 20th century. Finally, we've seen how good governance forms the bedrock of successful environmental, social, and governance programs. It's the scaffolding upon which policies addressing environmental and social issues are built. Remember, good governance is the backbone of successful ESG initiatives and a key driver of corporate success.